So I am doing this on Wednesday, and the first open round of voting for the Conservative leadership race has yet to take place. So it's very likely in the next video, we might be talking about who was the first to drop out. I will put money on it now. I think, and as you'll see in a moment, I still think it's going to be Mel Street. Mel Street is going to be, I think, the first one to drop out. He has absolutely no backing. He loses. Sorry, Mel Stride, not Mel Street. I keep calling him Mel Street. I don't know why I want to call him Mel Street. Mel Stride. He has absolutely no backing, as you'll see in a moment. The membership really don't want him, and he loses to almost every single other contender in a direct head-to-head race. So I still think he'll be the first to go. I'll be very surprised if it's anyone else, but I still think he's going to be the first to go. But, oh boy, as we've said before, and as you'll be seeing in a moment, Kemi Badenoch still the leadership favorite by the members, not by the MPs, because, as we'll also get into a moment, because the only people who are writing about this contest or really paying any attention to the contest are Conservatives. I've been doing a lot of reading from, Conservative Home, Conservative Post, etc., getting anything I can about the Conservative leadership race. And especially yesterday, it came up when we were talking about what Will Atkinson wrote, that Kemi Badenoch is going to end up being blocked. Now, that I think could have some very, very unintended consequences, not only for whoever happens to win this race, but also for the future, even unity of the party. Because I'll tell you now, one thing that hugely upset the membership was, of course, not having the Rishi Boris race that they so desperately wanted. But of course, the MPs went, no, we know you're going to vote for Boris. We can't allow that. So we are going to stop that from happening. The membership is absolutely going to pitch a hissy fit if Kemi Badenoch gets blocked. And here's the thing, Badenoch, historically, we know this in her personality. If she gets blocked, she ain't going to be quiet about it. If she gets told, if she makes it to the final four and she gets told, yeah, we know the membership are going to vote, would like vote for you in, but we ain't going to allow you to do that. She ain't going to be quiet about it. Oh boy, Kemi Badenoch is not going to be quiet about it. There will be no amount of Bob Blackman's yellow cards that will stop her from speaking out against those people and certainly raising the ruckus of the membership, who then might demand that she be allowed to run. That is going to cause huge ripples if she decides to do that. And she may very well decide to do that. It is perfectly in keeping with the character of Kemi Badenoch to do that. So before we have a look more at this new information, but again, it's not really that new surprising information. However, it does have, of course, head-to-heads. And that, well, not too surprisingly, has a very clear winner. So before we do get into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the One Off Dash link, or Buy Me Coffee. We can well Buy Me Coffee, the YouTube thank you button. And of course, as always, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So, like any good predictor of who is going to win in this upcoming leadership race, we've got to go over to Conservative Home. As I've said many, many, many times before, Conservative Home has predicted almost to a T who the winner is going to be, or more specifically, who the membership are going to pick in the final two. And I remember at the time doing my, good morning walks, doing these videos saying, "Oh yeah, Liz Truss is going to win. Liz Truss is going to walk it away." There were people in those comments saying, "No, no, no, Liz Truss isn't going to win. No, they never let Liz Truss win." So bear this in mind that these polls on Conservative Home have been so accurate, all because, as we've kept on bringing up, this is why I cover Conservative Home. This is why I keep on looking at what is going on here, because they have a direct link to the non-parliamentary party that gives you a interesting view of what is actually going on in the non-parliamentary party. So that's why we keep on coming back to Conservative Home, and I'll keep on bringing it up because every so often we have new people who says, "Oh, why does he keep on going to Conservative Home?" Well, this is why. So as you can see here, this is the first graph. Hopefully, you can see it a bit. I'm not too um, blocking it too much, but as you can see here, they asked a very simple question: who should be the next leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party? And as you can see, by a massive runaway amount of 34%, it is Kemi Badenoch. She runs away with it. Next, 18%, Robert Jerrick. Massive difference there. Massive difference. But also significant, not, well, 18 to 13%, not too much of a well, it is a bit big of a difference, but Tom Tugendhat's in third place. Then James Cleverly on 11%, bit more of a a reasonable gap. And then we have Priti Patel on 7, and of course, Mel Stride on 2%. um, yeah, like I say, I think he's going to be the first one to drop out. Given this, and this information we'll get onto in a bit more in a moment. Yeah, I think first one to drop out. I will be very surprised, but again, Mel Stride was one of the great survivors who managed to win his seat by 62 votes, and has since been thinking that he's God's gift to conservatism. Meanwhile, the only really reason he's running in this race is to try and get some sort of high up shadow cabinet position. That's the only reason I think he's again really in this race. Patel I think she thought she might have a chance, but again, she's very toxic, very toxic Tory, very bad for the brand. Bringing her back into a shadow cabinet position might keep a lot of the right wingers happy on the side of the party, but ultimately she's going to act up. It's again in her nature to do that. James Cleverly, as we've said before, just has too much baggage from Rishi Sunak, Boris Johnson, etc. Tom Tugendhat really is the only fresh face here. Well, Barmel Stride, but well, there you go. He's the only real fresh face. I've talked about why he isn't really revamping his last campaign. I think if you were to replay his last campaign, just to come back and say, well, I told you last time I was the fresh face of conservatism, I think he'd be doing a lot better. But there you go. And then, surprisingly, Robert Jerrick. And this is a guy who gets called generic Jerrick by his own fellow MPs. So there is not a lot of faith or even trust in, Jerrick here. Anyone who wins is going to be in significant trouble, is not going to be able to unite the party. We've talked about that ad nauseum. You cannot just say unity, but unity for what? What are you going to rally around? And what if other things have, other sides of the party start to have different ideas? It could get a bit strange. But anyway, we'll go on to this other one because this is a more interesting one as well. This is now a head-to-head summary. So this is talking about the final two. So the final two obviously goes to a members vote. And very clearly, as you can see here, Kemi Badenoch wins against everyone. She does not have a single loss against any single one of these candidates. And then you go to Robert Jerrick. He's 4-1. Who does he lose to? Kemi Badenoch. James Cleverly has 3 wins, but then 2 losses. And he wins against Mel, Patel, and Tugendhat. Tom Tugendhat only wins against Patel and Mel, while Patel only wins against Mel. And Mel Stride has no wins at all. No wins at all. So what does this mean then for a membership who might be about to see the candidate they want to vote for be blocked? Because she won't keep quiet about this. Absolutely not keep quiet about this. And then this is the votes for here. Kemi Badenoch, by how much she wins these head-to-head votes. 52%, 57% against James Cleverly's 27. 55% against Patel's 21. 61% against Tom Tugendhat's 28. 51% versus Robert Jerrick's 34. 69% versus Mel Stride's 16. And bear in mind, the only one to break 30% was Robert Jerrick. Tom Tugendhat comes close at 28%, but he still doesn't break it. He wins every single time. And then you go on to Robert Jerrick. If he was here, Robert Jerrick only gets 34, but Kemi Badenoch has 51%. And that's if, their version of a head-to-head race. There's just so many versions where he cannot win on this. And then you go down to the comments saying, oh yeah, no doubt, the Westminster Wets are therefore going to ensure that she doesn't get through. Someone else saying, let us see if the One Nation tribe allows Badenoch to get now to the final ballot, thereby return to us to a conservative, or even keep off and ensure that we stay now in the wilderness. Someone else didn't see it. Will the MPs now start playing silly games to ensure Badenoch doesn't get to the last 2? Someone else here, if Kemi Badenoch does win, we'll probably never see a Conservative government in my lifetime. And then someone else here. And the following month, in which Badenoch now has missed numerous hustings and gone on holiday, her lead is now 16 points. From Boris Johnson to Kemi Badenoch, the membership cannot get enough of the low achievers who say the right things at the right moments. It's like those con men who dupe the elderly and infirm on their doorstep with a bit of luck, a patter, and a wink. But he was such a nice man. It's obvious now who the membership wants. And it's the question really being asked, will the MPs allow her to go to that final 2? And as I've said, I've been reading a lot of what other Conservatives are talking about this. And this is a big topic of of contention between many of the Conservative commentators and people who are looking at this, saying she might get blocked, she might not get blocked, they might allow her to do it. If anything, it would be better for the Conservative Party to give her that ascension, let her win, and then let her fail. Because guess what? There's still plenty of time before the next general election to get rid of her. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But like I say, I'm doing this video on Wednesday. It's going to come out on Thursday afternoon, but it is very likely, very, very likely, we will have had people drop out probably now, drop out of this race, and it will really begin in earnest. And then we'll see who makes it to the final 4. And then we'll see who makes it to the final 2. But if Badenoch doesn't get it, and it's Jerick, well, if Jerick makes it to the final 2 and not Badenoch, well, it looks like his race to win. Looks like, once again, he's the one who the membership wants, but he comes with a lot of baggage. A lot of baggage, that's for sure. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, we'll see you all next time.